welcome. I'm Brent Musburger. The Buckeyes still with an outside chance of getting to the Rose Bowl. They must beat Michigan and hope that Minnesota either ties or beats Iowa. And some news will be made in Columbus this week. The Buckeyes have been red hot. John Cooper's done a marvelous job down the stretch, and the Ohio State president, Gordon Gee, will reward him next week. They will extend his contract. Let me bring in my partner, Dick Vermeil. Dick, I don't think anybody deserves it anymore for the coaching job that he's done the last month than John Cooper.
Well, John Cooper and Ohio State Buckeyes have won 5 in a row, and he deserves a contract extension. Where they've improved the most, though, Brent, is on defense. They lead the Big Ten now in giving up the fewest number of points, and offensively, the fine freshman running back Robert Smith no longer running like a freshman. And in fact, he reminds me of O.J. Simpson when I saw him running as a young freshman at San Francisco City College.
But as Woody would say, that school up north, they come in here favored. How can that be?
Well, they should be favored. Heck, you know, they're only 9 points away from being undefeated. A 4-point loss to Notre Dame early in the year. The game could have gone either way. 2 1-point losses in the middle of the season when they were playing without their best linebacker and without their best defensive lineman. They're a little healthier today. Maybe one of the best teams in the country.
The familiar sounds of the victors. One of the greatest fight songs in college football, as the Michigan band is here too. A little bit of a new wrinkle involving the footballs for this game. Mark Jones, what's that story downstairs?
Well, Brent, Dick, it's interesting to know that each team gets to use the football of its preference on offense. Today, Ohio State will be using a normal football, while Michigan, on the other hand, will be using an unconventional type of football called the double grip football. It's brand new. Now, it's the football on the left coming up right here. It has dimples or grooves in it, much like a golf ball. And Michigan has been using it for about 3 games now, and the players all love it. Elvis Gerback, the quarterback, says he loves it. The receivers say it gives them a type of suction, and it sticks to their hands, so it helps them in that respect. You know, it's interesting, too, that tests show that it travels about 13 yards further on average than the normal football in adverse weather conditions. Today, hey, we've got those adverse weather conditions, windy with a chance of rain, so it'll be interesting to see if it's a factor. Guys will have a look out for those.
All right, Mark, that's a wrinkle of Charlie Finley. And when they go from right to left here with that breeze at their back, Michigan hopes that that dimpled football will work wonders for their passing game. Gary Moeller played here for 3 years. He has also been a head coach here. That was with Illinois. And he was the last victim of the late Woody Hayes back here when he brought the Fighting Illini in, and he suffered the final setback that Woody Hayes was able to score with a victory here. Meanwhile, on the Ohio State side, it will be the veteran quarterback number 15, Greg Fry, his last game in Columbus. And he hopes to lead the Buckeyes down to Jacksonville, Florida, if not Pasadena, because the winner of this game, if they don't make it to the Rose Bowl, will go to the Gator Bowl, and the loser to the Liberty Bowl.
Brent, Gary Moeller, the head coach at Michigan, told me he felt that if there was an advantage anywhere, it would be the advantage to Ohio State in that their quarterback, Greg Fry, is a 5-year senior, and that extra experience coming into a big game like this is a real edge for that team.
Ohio State won the toss. They deferred. Michigan will get the ball to start the game. And that means you will see one of the best kickoff returning teams in the nation. Desmond Howard, who leads the country, will be back deep. And we would expect that Ohio State will attempt to keep it away as Tim Williams will put the ball on the tee, and we'll be underway.
You know, I'm sure they had good reason for making that decision, but I think with Michigan's big physical offensive line, and I won the toss, I'd put my offense on the field first, because right now, defensively, Ohio State could be playing without Alonzo Spellman, the big 270-pound defensive tackle, and they'll be playing a smaller tackle on Greg Skrepnik, the 325-pounder. I'd want to put that battle off as long as I could.
Underway. Alexander's hands at the goal line. Trying to get an alley on the outside, and he is going to be out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Benny Clark, number 7, a cornerback, there defensively on the kickoff team. Elvis Gerback with 16 touchdown passes for the Wolverines. And behind him, his leading rusher, John Vaughn. But expect to see plenty of the freshman Ricky Powers. Gerard Bunch, he beat the Buckeyes in the 4th quarter a year ago. There's that great offensive line. Dean Dingman, Kodak All-American already. and the rest of that talented bunch. Gerbeck, who likes to throw on first down. Gary Moeller calling the plays for the Wolverines.
Starting out the game with 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, balancing up the defense.
Vaughn on first down, no daylight. The defense was there for the Buckeyes, and let's meet that group. Ken Coleman steps into the starting lineup in place of the injured Alonzo Spellman, sideline with a bad ankle. Jason Simmons coming on strong, and Steve Tovar is one of the best linebackers in the Big Ten. Vinnie Clark leads a secondary that includes Peel, Pelini, and Foster Paul. Second down, 11 yards to go. Bunch back in front of Vaughn. Gerbeck to throw his first pass of the game down the middle, and open is Howard at the 35-yard line.
That play action pass really draws the linebackers. You'll see play action fake, nice fake. He gives a ball fake, right? See, now puts the hand on the hip, comes back, and he's throwing down there. The linebackers would normally in a zone defense drop into this zone area, but the play action throws them on the line of scrimmage.
15-yard gain for Howard, and a Wolverine first down at their own 35. Alexander again in motion. Bunch the fullback. Tovar riding him to the 40-yard line.
Bill Young, the defensive coordinator for Ohio State, said that what they had to do is not line up physically and take them on man for man. They want to line up. You'll see them, the defense here in red. They're going to move the defense around. They're going to slant and stunt. They don't believe they can sit in there and take them on physically. The offensive line for Michigan being too physical, too big.
Second down and 5 for the Wolverines. Van Dyne steps in motion. Vaughn, the ball carrier, trying to get outside and could not avoid Jimmy Peel.
This is an example of what Bill Young said. He said the next thing we're going to do after moving the defense, slanting them on one way or the other, we're going to line our safety up on the line of scrimmage. Now, he's up on the line of scrimmage to the right side of your screen. He's going to be up in an 8- and a 9-man front. As he cuts back, the safety, you'll see beyond the line of scrimmage making the play. This will force Michigan to get into their passing attack much sooner.
A 4-yard loss. 3rd and 9 for Gerbeck. 2 talented and dangerous wide receivers. Gerbeck straight back, has time, throws to the fullback, and Bunch breaks a tackle, and he's out. Oh, Buckeye ball. It can be returned by Cook.
The one thing Elvis Gerbeck normally does, and he did it this time, is he throws the short passes in a position that are easily caught and then easily advanced. See, he can turn and run. But Bunch gets the ball out in his right hand there, see, and he gets it knocked out. There it is. As Brent said, you can now run the football, as in pro football, as long as it's crossed the line of scrimmage. Another look. You've got to tuck the ball under tight. He's got it out in his hands. My gosh. Coach going to kill him on Monday. See that? You've got to keep it tucked in. Number 48, Mark Pelini, was the defender that knocked it out.
Fry and the Buckeyes with the first down at the Wolverine 20-yard line. Graham, the fullback, straight ahead. Eric Anderson, number 37, stepping up at the point of attack, along with 92, Mike Evans. Now behind Fry, here are the skill players for the Buckeyes. Dick has already mentioned Robert Smith, the talented freshman. Scotty Graham, the fullback. Jeff Graham and Bobby Olive, excellent wide receivers. There's the offensive line. Not as dominating as Michigan's, but a great center in Dan Beatty. This is Graham in motion behind Fry. Smith, his first carry. John Milligan, number 30, the linebacker, bringing him down, and we'll meet that Wolverine defense right now. Mike Evans, number 92. He must come along today. Chris Hutchison also extremely talented. Milligan and Anderson are the inside linebackers for the Wolverines. Otis Williams replacing the injured Trip Wellborn today.
Otis Williams is a redshirt junior, so he's had a little playing time. He came in with 13 tackles and 1 sack, 2 tackles for a loss, so he's been in there. I wouldn't doubt to see David Ritter, number 29, replace him early in the ball game.
3rd and 5 for the Buckeyes. Quick pop by Fry, threw behind the receiver. His tight end that time was Likovich, and he threw the ball behind him, so it'll be a field goal opportunity for the Buckeyes.
What you're going to see here is a hot receiver principle. They red dogged the inside linebackers, and they went to Likovich as quickly as they could, just try to pop him into that open area. Good adjustment by Ohio State, just threw it behind him.
Number 4, Kurt Herbstreit to hold. Number 50, Jim Borchers at center. Ted Williams will attempt the field goal.
Kirk Herbstreit will hold it. It's a 33-yard attempt by Williams. With the wind at his back, the Buckeyes move ahead 3-0, taking advantage of the fumble by Gary Moeller's fullback. Is kicking off for the 2nd time in this game. Williams, who put them ahead 3-0. Howard and Alexander are deep for Michigan. He'll kick it on the ground and keep it out of Howard's hands, so a short man will bring it back from the 25-yard line. That's Leggett.
Here's what set up that field goal. The fumble in the first pass reception by Jared Bunch is coming out to the left side of your screen. Now you'll see he makes the catch, he turns around and becomes the ball carrier, but he gets the ball out away from, freeze it right there. Look at this. See, he's got the ball out away from his body. That set the tone for the fumble down the field. He's got to get it tucked in right now. It's out away from his body again. See it out there? Too much confidence carrying the ball out there like that.
Vaughn and Bunch still in at running back as our referee Tom Quinn now on a discussion with Gerback and also the side judge, getting the lines set on the far side of the field, moving them back just a bit from the sideline.
Gary Moeller, the head football coach at Michigan and also the offensive coordinator, said they want to run the ball, but they recognize they're going to have to get the ball in their wide receivers' hands because these guys are the guys that light up the scoreboard.
Elvis Gerback, Hines off to Vaughn, and defensively, Greg Smith, the nose man, broke the play up. Gerback is from Willoughby Hills, Ohio. And he is not the only Michigan Buckeye. 22 players on the Michigan team played high school football in Ohio. There are some of the more talented ones whom you'll be hearing about here today. Ricky Powers, the freshman sensation from Akron, Ohio, checks in at tailback. 2nd down and 11 for Michigan. They run the draw with Powers swinging outside. 1st down, Wolverines, and what a future he has.
He really does. You know, I really think he's a better running back than Vaughn, and he's just beating him out. You'll see it's a draw play here. They set, and they want to run more weak. You'll see the defense all shifted strong side here. They give it to him, and here he comes in a nice draw play. See the draw now. He gets the lead block right there, at least 81.
A true freshman, and only the 3rd one at Michigan to rush for better than 500 yards. Gerback on 1st down, throws outside to Howard, and well defended by the Buckeyes as Foster Paulk, number 22, was there.
They want to throw their screens. They want to get the ball out in the hands of a Desmond Howard. He's the number 3 receiver in the Big Ten. He's the number 2 receiver in the history of University of Michigan behind Anthony Carter. So you know that he has talent, and he has that great acceleration. You give him a crack, and he takes off.
2nd down and 10. Howard moves over to the slot. 3 wide receivers for Gerback in Michigan. Fake the run. Gerback down the middle, overthrew him, almost intercepted. And that was Mark Pelini, who had a shot at an interception at the 30-yard line as Gerback overthrew his wide receiver.
You'll see what the play action fake does in freezing the linebackers. Now your receiver comes down and he works into this hole. The linebackers would normally be back in that zone. They can't get there because they have to acknowledge just the fake there. See, it freezes him up in there. Now he comes back inside that zone. Boy, there it is. Just thrown a little too high. Should have been intercepted.
One running back in this 3rd and 10 formation for the Wolverines. And on the draw play, they'll use Powers. Short of the first down. Michigan forced the punt.
Trying to change up, break Powers with the draw play. Good call on 3rd down. You know that Ohio State's going to be coming after him. They're stunning the defensive line. Linebackers are getting upfield, outside guys, that is. He can't find a big enough crack to get the yards.
Eddie Ascona into punt, and the Buckeyes practiced all week in trying to storm Ascona. They're going to come after him.
I think they'll rush far more than they try to return because they've only had 7 returns against Michigan all year.
He lets the coverage unit get down. Not many of his punts have been returned this year, and he puts Ohio State inside the 20-yard line. 8:27, the official time in the first quarter. Ohio State leading Michigan by a field goal. Good news as Vinnie Clark checks back into the game, and that hyperextended left elbow has been taped on the sideline. They'll need him against Howard. Howard comes out wide to the right. They are locked up one-on-one out to the right side of Gerback. 2nd down and short with Alexander in motion and turning back. Powers, the freshman, for the first down.
Look at the power. Good strength in there.
Dick, here are some guys that you could use on your yard back in Pennsylvania during timeouts.
Yeah, look at it. But the thing is, I have cattle all over mine. These guys are out here replacing the divots in this beautiful turf, moving around, make sure. Look at that. Nice sod there. He's putting it back in place. I know they're not looking for Easter legs. I know that.
I think they've got some young women on that crew, too.
Yeah.
All right, now it is a 1st and 10. Powers, the freshman from Akron, Ohio, starting to carry the load. The wind is at Michigan's back for this quarter. Powers with a big hole. Blasts across the 25-yard line in his personal duel with Robert Smith. Ricky Powers is starting to step up right now.
Tom Doring, number 73, the big offensive left tackle right here, comes off and gets a great base block. They're all coming off pretty good, but he gets the point of attack just nailed, gives him the nice run. He's blocking on big Alonzo Spellman, number 99, who is playing on a sore ankle. Nice block by Tom Doring. You'll see what I'm talking about. See, he just drilled him, knocked him right out of there. Look at the power in this young man's legs.
5 carries, 52 yards, and he'll get a breather. Bunch is the lone running back. The Michigan fullback checks in, and he'll be the ball carrier. And he carried Greg Smith with him for about 4 yards that time.
Greg Smith has been a pain in the neck to these people the whole first quarter. He's really quick at that nose guard position. He bounces around. He's a very bright young man. Academic All-American this year. He's been academic All-Big Ten a couple times. A real smart young man and a real quick nose guard.
Dick, we really want to welcome KTMF-TV, channel 23 in Missoula, Montana, our newest ABC affiliate, the University of Montana, located in Missoula, a beautiful campus out there in the foothills of the Rockies. Ricky Powers back in at tailback. He is behind Bunch.
Unbalanced line, set left.
Van Dyne comes in motion behind Gerback. Best drive of the game for Michigan, and this is the reason why. Powers bolts to the 10-yard line.
What happened, the backside offensive guard got the cutoff block. Now you'll see the start in one direction. All right, now watch him cut back. He's not going to run at the point of attack. Defense is pursued. He gets back, and all he needed back there was one good block, and he got it from his offensive guard, Dean Dingman, number 78.
63 yards for the freshman from Akron, Ohio already. A 1st and 10 for the Wolverines at the Buckeye 11, going into the teeth of the noise here in the shoe. Powers cutting back. Penalty marker is thrown as he continues to battle before Steve Tovar, number 58, brings him down.
Coach Moeller likes to throw the ball down in here because because everybody looks at their big offensive line and they stack up down there and they really get their defensive butts up in the air and come across the line of scrimmage. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him start throwing it down in here. Here's big Alonzo Spellman right here. He takes a little early move. He's playing on that left ankle that's a little bit sore. Oh, get back, Alonzo. He's a little too big to get back quick enough.
He got back all the way to Cooper's bench. They just took him out.
I'll tell you, Spellman is great. He didn't play last week. He hurt his ankle 2 weeks ago in the Iowa game. Couldn't play last week. But he's learning to play with a little pain, which is good for him. That's what football does for you. You know, there's going to be a lot of days and later in life when you got to get up and go to work and you don't feel like it.
I knew there was a reason why I didn't like playing the game.
Well, you
coaches,
you mushburgers are all I like, I'll tell you that.
You wanted to say it.
No, but it is good for a kid. There a lot of times he's going to not feel like wanting to go to work in the morning. He's going to have a cold. His wife's going to be nagging on him. And he's still going to have to get up and go to work.
Now, penalty moves the ball to the Buckeyes 6-yard line. First and goal for Michigan. It's Bunch. Stopped at the 5-yard line. Jason Simmons, number 91, hitting him first. Inside the 20-yard line, behind Gerbeck, the Wolverines have scored 30 touchdowns in 43 possessions plus 7 field goals.
That's outstanding execution inside the 20. When you look at 30 touchdowns, that's what really, I think, measures efficiency in your offense. You can score the field goals, yes, but getting the 7-pointers in there is the critical thing. It shows good coaching. It shows good game planning.
Double tight end formation. Powers is the lone running back. Alexander and Howard are the wide men. A tight end may break free in this formation. And it'll be Powers at the 4-yard line. He's stopped by Tom Lease, number 81.
First by 81.
Tom Lease is a hospitality management. He was not very hospitable, whatever that word is at that time, was it? Here he is, filling the hole just like he's supposed to, working off his block, moving inside out, careful not to overrun the play.
I think Bo Schembechler sent in that play.
Oh, I don't think so. He might like to, though, I'll tell you that. There's no way he's ever going to turn off the fire that he had inside him. Here's Coach Cooper.
Third down. Michigan can get a first down inside the 1-yard line without scoring. Gerbeck calls a timeout.
It happens in the parking lot.
The Buckeye defense of his can hold Michigan on 3rd and 2 at the 3.
I'd like to see him go ahead and put the pressure on the big offensive lineman, give him 2 downs to make the first down or touchdown. Go ahead and do that. Otherwise, you throw the pass here, it's incomplete. You've got to kick the field goal.
It's Powers. Breaks free, and he'll be down at the 10 as big Alonzo Spellman hitting first.
You'll see big Alonzo Spellman. He raised that ankle, doesn't hurt anymore, does it? Here he is, right here. He gets pressure upfield. It's amazing what the motion and intensity can do to you. They blocked it. They tried to kick him out. He got too much penetration. And when you let that 6'6", 270-pound young player get up there, look at him. He's pumped. Attaboy, that ankle doesn't hurt, does it? That's it.
J.D. Carlson with a chance to tie it. 27-yard field goal attempt. Ken Solem, the holder, puts it down. It's low, but it went through.
That ball was tipped, too.
Carlson's field goal ties the game with 10 minutes and 12 seconds to go in the first half. Ohio State 3, Michigan 3. Powers for a loss of 7. Carlson kicks a 27-yarder. Deadlocked at 3, and Michigan to kick it off. High and short. Dante Lee at the 12. No alley, and almost does cough it up. He put the ball down, but Ohio State jumped on it and saving the day with Coleman Wallace knocking the ball free. Number 85 for the Buckeyes. Cedric Saunders all over it.
Here's that big play defensively. Dean Dingman was going to pull here and come over and trap. Freeze it there. What happened, the defensive lineman, Spellman, got up too far. The fullback going for here, the tight end here. He just decided to turn up inside. The penetration broke the play. That was not what they wanted to do. Good defense by Spellman.
Raymond Harris is the tailback behind Graham. The fake to him, fly on the roll, hits Scotty Graham. Down at the 16-yard line with Lance Dotton, and they are coming right after Dotton. There's a penalty flag thrown again on the far side of the field.
Too many penalties on Ohio State so far in this ball game. You've got to control your emotion, your intensity, and use it to help you on the snap, not prior to or after, just during the snap. Especially in a game with this magnitude. The rivalry. The coaches told me, the Ohio State staff told me, our guys have been ready to play since Tuesday. There's those Buckeye leaves.
Fry started the season wearing that visor, but then it rained and they played in bad weather a couple of times, and he was bothered by the moisture. Since then, he has taken the visor off, and after beating Iowa on that last second pass to Bobby Olive, he'll probably never wear that visor again. After the penalty, the Buckeyes have the ball on their own 6-yard line. Fumble on the snap, and Fry will wrap it up, but it will be 2nd and 15.
Oh, you don't think that should ever happen, but it does. I saw it happen in the Atlanta Falcon-Philadelphia Eagle game last week. It happens. It should never happen. Normally, the center drops his tail in his block too soon before the exchange is made, and his tail sinks and pulls away from the football, and the quarterback doesn't get it. Now, Fry, Fry was just granted a postgraduate scholarship by the National Football Foundation Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Greg Fry. He's a bright young man. He's an English major.
Michigan will attempt not to let Ohio State out. The wind is at Michigan's back. Raymond Harris, the ball carrier, and this will make it 3rd and long with Chris Hutchinson, number 97, there defensively for the Wolverines.
The big thing down here is don't make the stupid mistake. Don't turn the ball over. You're having an even football game. Sit in there and battle. Be content to punt and cover it, but don't do anything foolish with the football.
Bobby Olive brings the play in from John Cooper's sideline.
Lloyd Carr, the defensive coordinator, told me, he said, Dick, I'm really concerned about their skilled people. They have 3 or 4 guys that can beat you on one play.
And Fry will throw out of his own end zone. Standing up, goes to the far side. Tipped, intercepted by Dutton at the 20-yard line. Lance Dutton comes up with the tipped interception. Advantage Wolverines.
That's just what I was talking about. Don't make the mistake. They did it. They're trying a vertical stretch pattern with play action, faking, holding the linebackers, taking the slot man now, and throwing back across the grain now, trying to lay it in the seam. It's there. He just throws it too high. It's batted in the air, and there's Lance Dotton picking off his 5th interception for the year. Don't turn it over down in that area. Good job of defense.
First turnover by Ohio State. Michigan turned it over early. Young cornerback who came up with his 5th interception of the season. 1st and 10 for Michigan. Gerback hands to Powers, and it was Alexander on the reverse. Alexander trying to cross them up, as he did me, getting inside the 20-yard line with Jason Simmons there defensively.
Well, Alexander's one of those quick kids. He's run 2 reverses already. Hadn't made many yards with him, 14. Faking in there to Powers. He flips it back here. He's coming around. But good defense by Lease. Good defense by, that's number 22, Foster Pope. Good discipline holding the defense over there.
Backside defense staying at home for the Buckeyes. Wide side of the field to Gerback's left. Powers, the lone running back in this formation. Van Dyne in the slot. It's Powers behind the left side, and he blasts his way to the 12-yard line. The talented freshman keeping the pressure on with Steve Tovar bringing him down.
I just keep giving him the ball. Don't get fancy. Keep giving him the ball. With those strong legs, I kind of believe he's the kind of guy that just sort of picks up tempo, picks up energy as he goes and gets running better and better and better.
That was coming into the game, but Robert Smith was used much earlier in the season than Powers. Because of the way Vaughn started, Powers did not get much of a chance. But here this afternoon, it's all Ricky Powers. 62 yards in 9 carries. Here is his 10th carry. And down at the 13 with Tommy Lease making a nice stop for the Buckeyes.
Obviously they're really thinking, hey, if we don't get it with a running play, we'll go for the field goal. We feel good about our kicker. He's been kicking real well. He's came into this ball game with 18 of field goals of 21 attempts inside the 40, 7 for 9 in this area, so he's pretty efficient. But I'll tell you this, Gerbach has been throwing the ball efficiency inside the 22. He's got a lot of touchdown passes, 16 coming into the ball game.
Solon, a backup quarterback, will put the ball down at the 20-yard line. And the 30-yard field goal cuts through the uprights. Michigan takes its first lead of the day. Following an interception, the Wolverines settle for a field goal, and it's 6-3 with 6:05 to go. Robert Smith back deep, and now Robert Smith with something to prove, and they will not kick it to him. It'll be Lee at the 7. 15. Spins out to the 22. 1st and 10. Fry off a fake. Throws to Graham coming out of the backfield, and Graham is short of the first down. Well, Mark Jones, what's going on with the defensive unit of the Buckeyes?
Well, guys, defensive coordinator Bill Young just told the defensive unit that we got to be nice to the officials. He was really stressing that because so far Ohio State has been penalized a lot more than Michigan has in the game. He also added, guys, we have to stay close, which reiterated what the coaches told us yesterday. They got to be in it come 4th quarter. Guys?
Yeah, well, he's had penalties going against him. He says, don't yell at those guys. Don't get mad at them. Just give them respect. Call them sir, in fact.
2nd and short. Smith getting the first down before T.J. Osmond can stop him at the point of attack. Robert Smith with 25 yards in the game so far for the Buckeyes.
These Buckeye fans are something. We're driving over here this morning, and we drive this restaurant. They opened up at 6 o'clock. What they have, what was the sign? 6 o'clock.
Suds and eggs.
No, it was something else. What the? Come on, Tubbs, come up with that. It was really good. Kegs and eggs. 6 o'clock this morning.
Needless to say, we drove right to the arena as Fry, working the option, keeps it and comes across the 42-yard line and close to an Ohio State first down. Linebacker John Milligan there defensively.
This is a play they have not run this year. It is a trap option. Now they're going to pull a lineman a trap. He'll come down the line of scrimmage, and watch him make the little fake that fakes out the defender. He comes down. See, there's the trap block. No, freeze it right there. See, just free right there. He gave him just a little token fake. Up he goes. Upfield he goes. Good job, Greg. And he's really not known for his option ability.
Baseball player here during the spring at Ohio State, even though he's a senior football player, says he'd like to give baseball another shot with the Buckeyes. Some feel he may have a minor league future. Raymond Harris trying to get the first down for the Buckeyes, and this is going to depend on the spot as to whether or not the Wolverine offense is going to get the ball back.
There's defensive, offensive coaches here talking about problems being presented by Ohio State.
That would be a shocker if Kentucky stuns Tennessee. Those poor folks down at the Sugar Bowl, they don't know who's going to be coming to town. Coming into this game, it certainly looked like it was going to be Virginia and Tennessee, but now Kentucky leading Tennessee by a couple of touchdowns. That would throw the Southeastern Conference right up in the air. That much for the first down.
Scotty Graham, the fullback at 220 pounds, is the kind of guy you'd like to give the ball in this situation. He's been banged up a little bit this year, but he told me in the locker room yesterday he really felt healthy, and he thought he'd be ready to have a real good ball game. He had 977 yards last year, only 225 this year. Of course, with the addition of Robert Smith to the backfield, he just doesn't get to carry it as often either.
Needing inches for the first down.
A broken play went the wrong way.
Breaks it for a first down.
I'm just telling Scotty Graham what a good job he's going to do in short yardage, and he goes the wrong way. You'll see this coming from the... You'll see that the running backs go this way on an option. The quarterback goes this way. Somebody made a mistake. Let's watch the blocking. The running backs went the wrong way. The fullback. Scotty, you blew it. I know Greg Fry's smart enough to go in the right direction. He just got that postgraduate scholarship.
A first down for the Buckeyes. Ball on their own 46-yard line. They trail Michigan by a field goal, 6-3 here in the first half. Fly off a pump fake, going deep, incomplete. Olive, the intended receiver, and David Key there defensively for the Wolverines.
Did you see him make that pump fake? He made that pump fake. We'll show this to you as we run back with this replay, all 20. He comes back off this, makes a pump fake to freeze the safety here so he can get the one-on-one down the sideline. He's got the slot man going down the hole. Now watch the quarterback right here. He pumps right, turns back, and throws left. Oh, Sid Gilman, if you're sitting home watching that, I know you love that. He'd love to see quarterbacks do that.
Second down and 10. Fry follows it, picked up by Robert Smith, and he's buried at the 45-yard line by John Milligan.
Take a look again, see if we can see who's at fault. Going back, he takes it back nicely. He has the ball. Oh, the fullback. The fullback and the quarterback bumped into each other. The fullback coming either a little tight or the quarterback opening up a little too flat, one or the other.
This is not a well-oiled offensive machine as Scotty Graham comes off to the Buckeye sideline.
Maybe that's a sign Fry's going to turn it all on in the fourth quarter like we've seen him do so many times.
3rd and 12 for the Buckeyes. Ball on their own 45-yard line. Fry straight back. Avoids the pressure. Throws down the middle to Graham, complete at the 36. Given that much time, Graham simply worked his way free.
You can't give anybody that much time. You'll see he gets back there. The linebackers drop out. They have a stunt going on up inside. It's picked up nicely. Now he's flushed. He gets back outside. Presence of mind now to set up, look downfield. There's Graham working in the zone. Again, experienced players. A 50-year senior throwing to a senior. He settled down in the zone. He didn't run through it. Good job by Ohio State seniors.
Jeff Ellis in at tight end for the Buckeyes. Scotty Graham, number 35, back in at fullback. He is no relation to Jeff Graham, the talented wide receiver. Graham steps in motion, and they hand to Smith, looking for daylight outside. Swings to the outside, and he's inside the 25-yard line before Veda Murray gets him out of bounds. Smith's best run of the game.
You want to see a nice block by an offensive lineman. There were a couple of them. Alan Klein, number 67, an honor student coming out of high school, shows he is more than just a smart guy. Watch this block coming up in front of you right there. A knockdown pancake block. He pinned him. Nice job by Alan Klein. Here's the big Klein boy. You know, he's just been moved to that starting left tackle spot. He was rotating with Roy Nichols, number 63, and they moved Roy Nichols into the guard position. Got them both on the line of scrimmage.
Raymond Harris is the fullback in front of Smith. 7 carries for 40 yards for Smith, and on the draw play, up the middle and across the 20-yard line. 2nd down and 7. Harris and Graham now the running backs as Raymond simply moves back to the tailback spot, and Smith will take a break. The option, the pitch to Harris. Harris across the 15-yard line before Murray can bring him down.
See, this is the new offense they haven't run this year. They're trying to get a big play out of the running game with the option. You'll see him take the ball, fake to the fullback, come down, and when the defender comes to take him, he'll flip it out here behind the blocks of the two slot people, the wide receivers. So he gets the fake inside, he takes it to the linebacker, now he flips it out to him. See, pretty quick what they're going to do is they'll take that pitch and let the quarterback keep it and nail him because he is not a running quarterback. First time you see it, though, this is what you're disciplined to do. Go ahead and force the pitch.
The measurement leaves them that far from a first down. The Buckeyes inside the 20-yard line here today. And for the season, they have 26 touchdowns and 7 field goals in those 47 possessions.
Not quite as efficient as Michigan in terms of touchdowns and the number of times inside there, but still doing a good job. But I really think Ohio State's best football has been played over the last 5 weeks, and those statistics measure the whole season.
Ohio State grinding the clock down here in the first half. Only a minute and 15 seconds to go. Robert Smith checks back in. They have 2 downs to get the first down. They trail it by 3. They're inside the 15. Harris.
Good defense.
And he was got by Milligan. It'll be close.
Last week, the first series, they recovered a fumble. Ohio State did, and they got down in this area, and they ran an option, a different style option, and they fumbled the thing and gave the ball away. They better not do that again today. Oh, Michigan would like him to do it.
First down. Murray complaining that they should bring the chains out, and referee Quinn saying, I can see it from here. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Buckeyes.
I wouldn't doubt now that Lloyd Carr, the defensive coordinator at Michigan, comes after him with some change-up defense, linebackers committed in dogs or something like that.
Graham.
Audible.
The fullback in front of Harris. Fry to throw. Touchdown! Greg Fry to Jeff Graham. 12-yard scoring strike.
He came up to the line of scrimmage. He saw the defense he wanted. He saw the strong safety up here on the line. He ran the tight end in the flat, and the slant pattern by the wide receiver hit him in good rhythm. 1, 2, 3, fire the ball, got it there before the safety could get there. Touchdown. See, if you're going to play that coverage without safety help, you've got to get the corner, in this case 22 Dotton, playing him inside. He was not getting inside help, or at least he didn't get there fast enough.
Ohio State scores the first touchdown of the afternoon. Herbstreit puts the hole down for Williams. He adds the extra point. Buckeyes 10, Michigan 6. Inside of a minute to go here in the first half.
Jeff Graham leads the Big Ten in average yards per catch. Does a great job averaging over 20 yards a catch. Has 11 touchdowns in his career. Every ninth reception, he's put it in the end zone. This guy is going to be a very, very high pick in the National Football League. We won't get to see him, I don't think, in the World Football League, Brent.
Decision time for Williams and the Buckeyes as to whether or not to put it in Desmond Howard or Derek Alexander's hands with 44 seconds to go, or to kick it short. Gerbeck and Michigan working with 2 timeouts and trailing 10-6.
I tell you, they don't want to kick off to these guys because, like you said earlier, Desmond Howard leads the country in returning kickoffs. #1 in the Big Ten, #1 in the nation, averaging 29.5. He's returned a 95-yarder for a touchdown versus Michigan State. They have a very good concept in the way they return, and people are stealing it, taking it off tape and running it themselves. See, they're kicking the low scrimmers.
It'll be picked up by Alexander. Surrounded at the 25-yard line and down. 37 seconds left in the first half. And let's go downstairs to Mark Jones. Mark?
Yeah, guys, you know, Trip Wellborn underwent knee surgery, and he is obviously not playing in the game today, but he is not forgotten by his teammates. This is the forearm of running back Ricky Powers, who has Trip written in magic marker or some kind of tattoo. So he is obviously part of this team, if not in body, then in spirit.
I think all of us, Mark, at ABC want to send along our best to Trip Wellborn. He has such a marvelous spirit around that Michigan team, and he was knocked out, and he will undergo reconstructive knee surgery following an injury during the Minnesota victory last week. He was coming down the sideline. It was a very important punt return for Michigan, and along that sideline he suffered a knee injury, and they were not able to correct everything with arthroscopic knee surgery. Gerback working against the clock, wind at his back, 36 seconds, and Michigan will use the conservative approach. Powers not wanting to risk an interception in this situation and giving the Buckeyes another opportunity for a field goal or a score. Let's show you exactly how Trip Wellborn injured that knee against Minnesota. He was coming down the sideline. Here he is returning a punt, and watch the leg buckle.
The right leg right there. See, no one hit him there before it buckled. I think it just sort of buckles. He went underneath him. A fine football player. He'll be back, though.
A senior. There's an explanation about the clock. And Trip had a chance to talk to his Wolverine players. He's one of the team leaders. This is what he had to say to them.
Trip. Hey, all right, everything's gonna be all right with me. But the only one thing I want you to hear me last game, man. It's my last game, and I want everybody to come through for me, all right? Now, I'm not an emotional guy, y'all know this. Y'all just gotta do it. Thanks for the day. Thanks for the day. 1, 2, you know what to do. Hail to the victors valiant. Hail to the conquering heroes. Hail, hail to Michigan, the leaders and men.
You can just imagine the agony of a young athlete like Wellborn watching this game on television. It's not the same as being out there on the field in the middle of it when you can do something about it. Now he's learning what it's like to be a fan and watching his teammates. And of course, he figures to get an opportunity to play in the NFL despite that knee operation. He'll undergo reconstructive surgery, and then he'll start to hit those weight machines and bring himself back for an opportunity professionally. 34 seconds. Michigan using one of its 2 timeouts. And again, they elect to run the draw. Powers breaks free out to the 48-yard line. Powerful freshman runner from Akron, Ohio.
Here's a kid. He came up. He ran for 2,014 yards his senior year in high school and never carried the ball more than 18 times. He's going to carry the ball more than 18 times today. Believe me, Jared Bunch out in front of him getting a nice block. But you can see what talent this young man has. And can you imagine him 2 or 3 years down the road?
An injured Buckeye kneeling down. May have lost his win defensively. That's Jim Peel, one of the defensive backs. And he'll come off to the sideline. 16 seconds remaining. Peel comes to the sideline. 1 timeout left. Gerback looking over at Howard, who is double teamed. He rolls to the right, checks Alexander. Now he's going to throw back to Powers. Powers, and it's almost intercepted, and that's going to bring the first half to an end.
That was a design type play all the way. Straight drop back, delay rollout, throwback.
All week long, the Buckeyes heard from their coaching staff about the Rose Bowl. Not the Gator Bowl or the Liberty Bowl, but still the Rose Bowl. And if they can beat Michigan here today, and if Minnesota upsets Iowa or ties them, then the Buckeyes would be headed to Pasadena. But if Iowa wins and John Cooper wins, then Ohio State will go to the Gator Bowl. But if Michigan comes back here in the second half and beats Ohio State, then Michigan will go to the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida, and the Buckeyes will go to the Liberty Bowl to play the Air Force Academy.
Even Coach Cooper's trying to be nice to the officials. You see him with a smile on his face.
Some of the other bowls that are unfolding, and didn't they get into it this year when they were premature in making their selections? I guess it's like buying futures. If you're at the commodities market in Chicago and you go down and buy futures on oranges and it doesn't work out, you suffer the consequences, and much the same thing happened to the Sugar Bowl. So it's one of the last bastions of American capitalism, and sometimes it doesn't pay off for you. Meanwhile, J.D. Carlson with a pair of field goals for the Wolverines, putting the ball on the tee. He'll kick it off. Ohio State leading it by 4 and set to return. And Dante Lee up toward the top of your screen.
They've done a great job of covering kickoffs all year, only allowing a little over 16 yards of return. That's outstanding coverage. Good special team coaching.
They want the ball in Lee's hands. Twist to the 28-yard line. The numbers show a fairly even first half. Each team turned the ball over. There was the interception by Ohio State. Michigan fumbled. That led to a Buckeye field goal.
Yeah, they've been almost identical. I don't think Michigan has gotten untracked with their overall approach to coming into this ballgame. They wanted to throw the ball, they wanted to run weak side, and they wanted to use the no huddle. We've only used the no huddle one time. We've got to give some credit for Ohio State. Maybe have taken them out of their game plan a little bit.
The wind will be at Michigan's back for the third quarter. Thus, Greg Fry and the Buckeyes will get it for the fourth. Regardless, Fry on the first play from scrimmage of the second half hits Olive for a Buckeye first down. Corwin Brown there defensively for Michigan.
Bobby Olive, smart receiver, play action pass. He comes down and starts. He wants to run a zone corner pattern across the area here. He sees it plugged. He reverses and comes back out and settles down. Good read. See him now, watch him come in there, play action pass. He sees the defender stopping up in there. He turns back. He finds that little hole in the zone. Intelligent receiving.
Stabline carries the play in for Ohio State from the sideline. He replaced Olive. Graham, the wide receiver to the left, and the Buckeyes go to the air game. Oh, in the middle to Robert Smith inside the 35-yard line before Corwin Brown can make the stop.
Good execution. They crossed the tight end underneath. They crossed the tight end underneath that drew coverage and attracted people. You'll see him cross from the right to your left. You'll see Big Ellis cross there. There he is. See, he sets up, he draws coverage. Now here goes the halfback down the seam, and they don't throw to him often, but when they do, he's very effective with the ball in his hands.
One of the places where they will miss Welborn is after the catch. Trip Welborn with great speed and running down a wide receiver. Raymond Harris and Scotty Graham are the running backs. Harris, the tailback. Harris inside the 30-yard line, and he was dragging Martin Davis with him.
He was close. If he'd have seen, there was a little cutback back there. If he'd have gotten his shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage, he would have seen that as he entered the hole and would have broke it back.
Stabline again bringing that play in from the sideline as Ohio State continues to shuttle its wide receivers. Michigan wanted to change a defensive player and could not get him onto the field. That was Dave Ritter. He had to turn around and go back out. Scotty Graham straight ahead to the 25. Mark Jones, what do you got for us downstairs?
Well, guys, just a couple points from the locker rooms. In Michigan's locker room during halftime, a lot of ranting and raving going on, a feeling of what should have been for the Wolverines, a lot of blown opportunities. Meanwhile, with the Buckeyes, it was a very optimistic feeling, and maybe the most important thing is that Alonzo Spellman for the Buckeyes will be played even more than he's been playing in the first half. He's a lot better off than they thought because of the ankle injury. This is the type of game that can make you forget about a lot of pain.
Buckeyes continue to rotate Raymond Harris. Now he is the fullback in front of Smith, who is the tailback. Third down and 2 for the first down. Fry showed some option in the first half. The fake to Smith under pressure. He throws to Harris, who dropped it. Incomplete pass.
He had real pressure in his face. He did a good job of getting up. And that's the first time I really can remember bringing the linebackers out there to force him quickly. You'll see now, watch him fake. Now listen to this.
Martin Davis getting a lick on him for the Wolverines. This will be 4th and 2 with Williams setting up to kick the field goal. Herbstreit, the holder. The ball will be put down at the 33, so it'll be a 43-yard field goal attempt.
He's 1 for 1 from that distance this year.
Herbstreit, a quarterback, to handle the snap. Gets it down long enough. He's got the 3 points. Of Desmond Howard's hands, kicking it short, kicking it along the ground, even preferring to go to Derek Alexander.
I think that's a good decision.
Alexander at the 15. Across the 30. Bolts past the 40. Crosses midfield. And holding on the back of the jersey. Chico Nelson able to bring him down.
See, many times when you get that short kick like that, Brent, the coverage people are still sprinting full speed, and they don't come to balance in proper rhythm with the football. Therefore, they overrun it. By coming to balance, I mean drop your center of gravity and get in a position to make a tackle so he can't juke you and make you miss. See, the coverage just overran it. He did get some good blocking, but still poor coverage.
48 yards on the return. The ball across the Buckeye 40-yard line. Michigan's first possession following the halftime intermission. So far they have settled for 2 field goals. Gerbeck changing it up at the line. Powers, his freshman, is the tailback. He'll get the first carry behind Bunch. They swing him to the outside. Penalty marker is thrown as he made it across the 30-yard line, but there is a penalty flag on that far side.
Normally in that situation, it is holding. This is what I do think Michigan has to do, is just come out and go man-to-man blocking. Come out man-to-man and keep the line of scrimmage clean and give the good running back a chance to run.
Let's go downstairs and hear from the very talented Ohio State basketball coach. Mark?
I've got Randy Ayers with me, and Coach, this game is almost worth canceling practice for, huh?
That's right. This is a great game every year, regardless of the records. Both teams always come ready to play.
So if Michigan scores the win here, that means you guys are obligated to come back and win on the basketball court. Is that right?
Well, you know, we play them home and home every year, and it's always a great game, whether it's in St. John Arena or up in Ann Arbor. So we'll look forward to those 2 games this year.
What about yourself personally? Last year you had a pretty good season in your first year as head coach. This year ranked 10th in the AP polls. Your thoughts?
Well, I don't know if we're that deserving of that ranking right now, but we're going to work hard, and we've got all 12 players back, and we really like the attitude that our kids have so far.
Okay, Coach, enjoy the game. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Young man from Miami of Ohio did a fine job coaching the Buckeye basketball team. Now it's Michigan trailing by 7. And Gerbeck back to throw, has plenty of time, overthrows Powers.
That little nose guard for Ohio State, number 57. He's not real big. He's only 6'2", 250 pounds, and that's not big for a defensive lineman, but he's jumping around in there, Brent, and he's driving him crazy. He's having a heck of a game. Now, you'll see him in the middle of your screen. You'll see him, boom, he gets it. There he is going around the center. Now he's in the backfield. They're chasing him there. He's been there all day. Now he's working all the way around, and they're still chasing him in the backfield. Keep after him, Greg. Greg's a walk-on, earned a scholarship, honor student, all Big Ten. Outstanding young man.
2nd down and 18. Ball at the Ohio State 45-yard line. Gerbeck off a fake, goes straight back. Now under pressure. Comes over to the right and throws to Alexander, who stays. No, he stepped out of bounds at the 40-yard line. It will be 3rd down and about 13 yards for the 1st down. Maybe even longer than that.
Gerbeck has done a good job in converting 3rd down situations. They're 3rd in the Big Ten at 43%. But I'll tell you this, 3rd and this long, that's really tough to convert. Coach Moeller giving him the signals. He calls his own offensive plays. He does talk to the coaches in the press box, but he's his own coordinator.
Denny Clark, hyperextended left elbow in the early going, and they put a protective pad on it during the intermission. Hand to Powers. Powers continues to battle, but he is short of that first down. Ricky Powers on a 3rd and 13, finally tackled by Mark Paulini.
Draw play. He starts the play to the left. He gets draw blocking there. There's a collapsed defense up on top of your screen, left-hand corner. Hooks there. Number 91 got hooked in there. He should not get hooked in there like that. That's Jason Simmons, just a young redshirt freshman. He's got to maintain, contain. That was a good read by Jackson. Or Powers, rather.
4th down and 1.
They like to use the wishbone look like this, but they normally don't run the option.
Dennis Washington into the backfield, and officials timeout because of the crowd noise. They're coming into the horseshoe here in Ohio. Tom Quinn will use the crowd noise rule. And a review of that rule. He didn't even need to request it. Quinn just stepped in and said,
timeout.
Timeout. Now, the clock will start on the snap, so there's no 25-second violation here. And if the crowd continues to disrupt the signal calling, then Quinn can take one of the 3 Ohio State timeouts away from them, with Moeller flashing that sign in from the Wolverine sideline.
The 4th step would be a 5-yard penalty for each additional infraction. So I kind of think they'll quiet down.
Ricky Powers, the tailback, with 100 yards rushing today in 14 carries. John Vaughn started, but it didn't take Michigan long to turn it over to Powers.
Normally in this formation, they run toward the tight end side of the formation.
He asked Quinn again.
His time.
He calls back.
That's a second crowd noise.
That's a warning. Now the next one, they'll deduct a timeout. Well, you know, if you're the home coach, you're against all that. If you're the visiting coach, you want him to quiet him down. But as a home coach, is, hey, guys, go ahead, keep yelling. But you can see now on the field, the defensive players for Ohio State are signaling the fans to quiet down, let us play. We don't want to lose a timeout, and then later on, we don't want to go to that next step and be assessed a 5-yard penalty.
Quinn over with Coach Cooper on the Ohio State sideline.
Oh, it's not that loud on my side. It's just loud over there. Next infraction now would be a timeout taken away from Ohio State. The next one would be the 5-yard penalty.
They need less than a yard. Powers with more than was necessary across the 25 and into the arms of Tovar. First down, Michigan.
Did a good job of breaking a formation tendency, coming back away from the tight end. Good power play, wishbone look, fullback, halfback on the left side of your screen, going to lead. Bunch goes into the point of attack. Good isolation block on his part. First down, move the chain.
The crowd alive as Michigan heads toward the closed end. Go-back asking again, and he gets it.
I really think the referee's being a little nice in this situation. I don't know if it's that loud. It doesn't sound like loud up here. We were at a game a few weeks ago. It appeared much louder, and they didn't get that much cooperation from the referee. Coaches are helping him.
Charge timeout.
He has taken a timeout away from Ohio State.
Yep.
And several of the Buckeyes are upset, including number 48, Mark Pelini.
Yeah, you can see Cooper's upset now. He doesn't believe it's that loud.
Well, Dick, let me ask you, is this a good rule? The crowd has now become very much involved in perhaps the outcome of this game, or should they simply be allowed?
Well, I won't tell you what the crowd is yelling right now. I can't use words on air, but I'll tell you this. There's enough red jerseys in here, enough support, that I think it will quiet them down. It's a good rule.
An expensive rule.
Take another quick look at the crowd noise rule. Here it comes. Our offensive team is unable to communicate. Quarterback may request legal delay. If granted, all right, after that, after timeout, clock starts. On snap, all right, 25 seconds. Referee requests defense to silence the crowd. They tried it. All right, if referee agrees, second delay, defensive timeout charge. Next time, it's a 5-yard penalty.
1st and 10 for Michigan. The ball at the Ohio State 25-yard line. Powers the lone setback behind Gerbeck. Powers cuts back. And Tovar, number 58, wrapped him up. But Ricky Powers is having a monster here this afternoon. He has now carried for 108 yards.
Coach Moeller's got to get the ball in the hands of Desmond Howard and Derek Alexander. He's the guy. They're the guys that are supposedly have the ability to make the big plays, and they really haven't touched the ball much in this ball game.
You're wondering why Ricky Powers didn't explode earlier in the season. Remember that John Vaughn rushed for 201 yards against Notre Dame and then hit UCLA for 288 more. And today he has carried 3 times for a loss of 7. He goes to the sideline and is replaced by Powers. Second down for Gerbeck and the Wolverines. Gerbeck got a busted play, keeps it, steps into the middle and crosses the 15-yard line and close to another first down. Jay Cook there defensively.
All right, Gerbeck turned both ways. You'll see him turn both ways and talk to the running back. He's right here. He turns both ways and talks to the running backs. They don't hear it. See both backs going, I don't know which guy is wrong, but there was no one to give the ball to. Evidently, they didn't hear the audible.
3rd down and 1 for Michigan. Dennis Washington brings the play in from the sideline. The Wolverines have yet to convert a 3rd down here today. They are 0 of 5. And Powers shakes Spellman, and it's going to be close.
Good penetration by Spellman.
Tovar cleaned up.
You'll see right here, Spellman takes an inside slant. He didn't get picked up by the offensive lineman. Watch him slant inside. Here he goes underneath Skrepnik. See, Skrepnik had no help inside. He beat him inside, got penetration. Maybe they didn't make it. They did make it, 1st down.
And barely. Beck conferring with Moeller, who as a player was 3-0 against Michigan. But as a head coach at Illinois, he was 0-3 against Ohio State. Longtime member of Bo Schembechler's staff, defensive coordinator, his son Andy. He's an outstanding linebacker with the Wolverines, now on the coaching staff at West Point. Michigan attempting to tie it up, needs a touchdown. They trail it by 7.
Don't be surprised if they throw the ball out here on Vinnie Clark. He's all singled up one-on-one. Coverage is going strong side. Oh, man in motion, won't do it.
Alexander steps in motion. The hand is to Powers, sweeping outside, beats the contained man before he's hammered by Pelini.
Good tackle by Mark Pelini, the senior. Free safety, comes from a family of 8 children. He knows how to fight for his life in the secondary. Here he is at the top of your screen. See, he's just stretching it. He wants to find either cut up or get outside. He's got it stretched outside. He's stripped. straight arms, and here comes Pelini. Good course, good pursuit angle, inside out. Mark Pelini,
down and long.
3-time Big Ten academic award winner. Very smart young man.
Michigan was very conservative inside the 20 in the first half. Here it is, second and long. Bunchen powers and go back to throw. On the run, Tovar pursuing. Caught but out of bounds. Howard with the catch but out of bounds with Vinnie Clark there defensively.
Boy, did he leap. Here's Gerback, number 15, middle of your screen. He's flushed right now. Penetration upside. They pick him up inside there. He's flushed outside, and he throws the ball a little high and wide to the outside. Now watch this young man leap. There he is. He's out of bounds all the way. Boy, can he leap. He has a 39-inch vertical jump. Now, Brent, that is way, way beyond. That would have to put him in the 95th percentile in terms of leaping ability.
3rd and 8. Ball at the Buckeye 12-yard line. Michigan only 1 of 6 in 3rd downs. Bunch is the lone running back. Howard is to the short side.
They're going to come after him. Here they come.
Gerback with a quick drop, hits the hot man. Howard, touchdown, Michigan.
Job of picking up the blitz. He saw it coming. The receiver broke in there and just stuck it right where he had to. You'll see him right there. Here's the linebackers. Tovar coming. There's the outside safety coming. Safety blitz right there. He read it. They slanted inside. Touchdown. Good execution. Awfully good coaching by the offensive coaching staff.
J.D. Carlson with an extra point that will leave us tied if good. On the money. Michigan moves back into a tie with Ohio State. 7 minutes and 14 seconds left in the 3rd. 2nd down and 7 for Ohio State. Cooper's team has gotten the ball into Olive and Graham's hands a total of 7 times. Olive with 4 catches for 56 yards and Graham 3 receptions, 42 yards. 19 is the longest. Both Olive and Graham with a 19-yarder here today. The ball is at the Michigan 45-yard line. It's Ohio State 13 and Michigan 13. Inside of 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Ohio State moments ago using its 2nd timeout of the half, and it was called by a wide receiver on the outside of the formation.
Yeah, I don't have any idea why he did that, but and I'm not sure Fry knew why he did it, but I think the wide receiver felt there was an audible call, and he didn't hear the audible, and he didn't want to risk a bad play, so he called a timeout to find out what was happening.
This is a 7-play drive so far. Remember, the Buckeyes are coming out from their own 6-yard line following the Ascona punt. The slot man off to Fry's left. Benote wrapped up at the 41-yard line by Hutchinson.
John Peterson, the big offensive right guard at 292 pounds, did a nice job of pulling around the point there. You'll see him right here. Watch him pull around on this play. 295 pounds. How'd you like to have someone come and hit you on the couch at 295 pounds? Huh? Did a good job.
Benote and Harris, the running backs. 3 yards for the first down. Ball is at the Michigan 41-yard line. Fry to throw. Gets good protection from the offensive line. Throws to his tight end Ellis. Diving reception for the first down.
Ellis is the tight end that was injured all last year. He's had the bad ankle. He comes in here and he just runs a little square in there. He's much bigger than he normally plays the tight end position at. Way overweight. You can see the coverage people pick off each other in the man-to-man underneath coverage. It's throwing low and out in front of him. He's able to go down and get the football.
Jeff Ellis's first catch of the day for 7 yards. Ball at the 34-yard line. Graham, the fullback. Change up.
Audible. audible. Now what Michigan ought to do is change your coverage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's going to throw it.
Fry throwing to Jeff Grohl, incomplete. The end zone was in his eyesight that time, and Lance Dotton there defensively.
We showed you a little while ago why they intercepted, rather audible, and went to that short pass. I thought with this audible they were going to run a short pass and go deep. Instead, they just went to this deep slant pattern that was darn near intercepted. Very good coverage in this case by Lance Dotton, number 22. Did a nice, look at him get that right hand right in there. Real good job.
Dotton earlier with an interception in the first half.
He got that great leaping ability by playing basketball. Was a great high school basketball player.
2nd down and 10. Fry rolling to the right, deflected. And hitting it was linebacker John Milligan.
John Milligan is the fellow that missed the 5 games, as we said earlier, and he is an inspirational leader for this defense. They need him. He's knocked down 2 passes prior to that one coming into this ball game, but you'll see right now he's up there high. He saw the quarterback cock his arm, and linebackers are coached by linebacker coaches that say, hey, when he cocks his arm, if you aren't there, when he cocks, you leap. Good job of coaching by Jim Herman, the inside linebacker coach.
Hey, now it's Williams warming up his foot. The punter, he sits down, and now the field goal guy, he gets ready.
Hey, I'll tell you, don't try to figure out kickers, will you?
3rd down.
We don't have enough time up here today.
The ball at the Michigan 34-yard line. The Ohio State passing game against that Michigan defense. And Fry back to put it up again. Deflected, intercepted by the Wolverines. Eric Anderson picks it off, and he'll be down at the 29-yard line. The junior linebacker out of Glenview, Illinois.
Eric Anderson came into the ball game with 2 interceptions. Boy, I'll tell you, when you throw 3 interceptions in one game, you almost never win. Ohio State has thrown 3. You really have to be the better team to win when you throw 3 interceptions. Granted, one was tipped. The other one should have been caught. This one, it's a low ball, trying to get it in between the linebackers to the receiver behind it. Good drop, no play action in front to hold those people like he'd been using earlier. Now, Anderson gets to be a running back, and he was a fine running back in high school. He ran for 30 touchdowns as a running back in high school. He's thinking about that right now, don't you think?
And Bo and his staff making a decision to turn him into a linebacker, and it paid a dividend right now. The last 3 passes, all tipped by that Michigan defense, or intercepted, as was the case in that last one. The 3rd interception, but Michigan were only 3 points off the first 2. Here's Ricky Powers, wrapped up at the 25 by Big Mo Alonzo Spellman. Big Zo gets it done as time begins to run out on the 3rd quarter.
The big offensive guard here is Dingman is going to pull and try to trap, but the play is too wide, and he's getting trapped actually right into the defender. Watch, here he is. Boom. See there? He closed down in there too much. Run straight ahead, guys. Quit pulling, quit trapping, come off man blocking.
That ends the 3rd quarter. They do not get the play off. The 4th quarter, with Ohio State hoping that its lucky red shoes will propel their winged feet to victory over Michigan. The Buckeyes with a chance.
Those red shoes, I don't like those red shoes. They don't look like they belong on football players.
Here's Powers to the 25-yard line.
They look more like Cinderella slippers. How can you be tough wearing red shoes? At least they're not pink. You know, well, here's a guy, he's got a combination job there.
That's got to be one of the kickers.
Yeah, it has to be. At least they're not pink.
Yeah, there's the punter, see? See, now, just what you say about those kickers. They're a little confused when they get up. 3rd and 14 now for Michigan. Wolverines 13, Ohio State 13. The winners certainly will go to the Gator Bowl. And in Ohio State's case, they can wind up all the way in Pasadena if they win this game, and Minnesota shocks Iowa up in the Twin Cities. And that's not impossible in that arena. Gerback dropping back, has plenty of time, throws incomplete. Tremendous coverage by Jimmy Peel.
The ball was nicely thrown. It was very well defended by Jimmy Peel. Good deep squaring pattern inside the zone. He read it, he jumped it, did a good job.
Michigan moved to its only touchdown in the third quarter of this game as Kona comes in to punt. Look at all these punters.
Punting to Jeff Graham. You know, Brent, he's the #2 punt returner in the Big Ten. He has 2 returns for touchdowns this year. He's a real threat.
Under pressure. They came after him, and it hits a Michigan player. It's down at midfield, but there's a penalty marker. Was Ascona roughed on this?
It doesn't matter. There's a flag down, so somebody thought they did. You know, you're in control of the ball game. You've got the #1 returner back there. Of course, Ascona doesn't punt many balls you can turn, but you're going to get the ball back in good field position. Don't screw it up. Look at it now. Remember, you can just run into him, or you can really hit him physically. Oh, I know. They're going to call that 15. They've got to call that 15 because he really got to cross the leg.
Yeah.
See, they're going to. That's like throwing an interception.
The punter.
If it's just a 5-yard penalty, it's not a first down.
Uh-oh. I don't think Gary liked it. He thought it should be a 15-yard penalty. They're going to call a 5. That's why Moeller exploded on the far side.
Yeah, I agree with him. I agree with Moeller. I mean, he went across the guy's leg enough. Hey, I've seen much less than that called. Give it to him, Coach. Give it to him. I'd be whizzed too.
That did not give the Wolverines a first down. A huge call in this ball game.
You bet.
Early in the fourth quarter.
Not going after him this time. That's a low kind. If he can get that in his hands, that's the kind you like to return.
But they've surrounded Graham. Great move to the outside, and a penalty flag comes down. They may have caught the Buckeyes clipping on the far side. Look, you know, now that's like Bo. He's running out of cord.
I don't blame him. I'd be upset.
Now Quinn's going to come over there, and he's going to threaten him with unsportsmanlike conduct over there on that sideline.
It isn't going to change here, Gary, so might as well go back. I've seen a lot less than that called automatic first down, 15-yard penalty, roughing the kicker. That's a judgment call. This is a clipping penalty on the return.
Dick, your point was that the kicker was in a vulnerable position.
If you are stretched out like that and you go across the leg and you hit the leg, it normally is called roughing the kicker. Now watch this. He gets, boy, he's a two-step punter. Boom, there it goes. He's out. See, his leg is stretched. There's nothing he can do. There's nothing he can do. That is a blown call by the officials. Blown call.
Pay attention to see how you...
Blowing in Columbus is behind Ohio State. The field goal kicker, Tim Williams, has booted one successfully from 52 yards out. 4 minutes and 16 seconds, and Williams already starting to think about it. He kicked a 57-yarder in high school. But first things first, Fry has been intercepted 3 times here today by the Michigan defense. He'll hand it off. They'll run on first down. Benote to the 25-yard line.
Good, strong running for that young freshman running back.
3 minutes and 42 seconds to go. Jeff Graham in motion behind Fry. Harris up the middle. Down at the 28-yard line, short of the first down. Linebacker Eric Anderson bringing him down. The Buckeyes will try to bring that clock all the way down and then let Williams put it away. Remember what a tie does to the state of Illinois. The Fighting Illini would be left in the hunt for a Rose Bowl. If this game winds up as a tie, Illinois beats Northwestern, Minnesota upsets Iowa, the Fighting Illini could be headed for Pasadena.
And at one time during the year, we thought they were the best team, right?
Linebackers were up on the line. Fry is back with time. Complete to Olive. Olive breaks free at the 45 to the 47 with a penalty flag thrown in the direction of the far sideline. There is a flag down. Jeff Graham was over there on the far side. We'll see what happens after the catch was made.
Clipping. I think they called clipping on Roy Nichols, the offensive lineman. What they did, they caught Michigan's linebackers all lined up in here tight. They ran action this way to create flow. They brought the receiver, who's lined up tighter, across the formation. You'll see how it works. This flow, see it? Here, now he's lined up tight. He starts crossing in the zone. The linebackers were lined up initially. The play action throws him even more. There he is, running with the football. Little Bobby Olive, all 160 pounds of him.
The clip was on Graham, the other wide receiver. You saw him right at the end of that replay come into the picture and hit the defensive player from the rear. The flag was thrown on the far side in the direction of the Ohio State wide receiver. Take a look at what happens here toward the very end of the play. Olive now, watch coming into your screen. Here is going to be the clip. Right here.
There it is. Yeah, he definitely hit him from behind.
Third down. Here's the toss. Harris to the 31. It is going to be real close.
I don't think he made it. I don't think he made it.
John Milligan getting
good
the
penetration.
Job done.
Good penetration by the defense. Linebacker Milligan scraping off at the point of attack. Boy, on those kind of plays, you can't sit and wait for that tailback to get to you. You've got to go to him. He did it. I don't think he made it.
Fourth down and short. Ohio State, remember, with only one timeout. They want to save that timeout to set up a possible field goal, but they have used it here. This is such an important play. Ohio State can no longer wait, and Moeller brings the Michigan defense over to the far side.
Cooper discussing now, do I go for the first down? He only needs about a, what, yard, half yard or less. Do I go for it? If I don't make it, I have to punt it to them. They have the last shot at the offensive drive. If you go for it and don't make it, you're already in field position the other way around. Brett, I think he goes for it.
1:47 left in the game.
1:47.
Could be his last chance. He knows probably that Minnesota has scored first on Iowa. His only chance to get to Pasadena is to win this game.
I think he goes for it. You know, the thought in the back of his mind is that Indiana game, and when he made a decision late in the game, ended up resulting in a tie, and he took a lot of heat. That's got to have effect on you.
The Hawkeyes kick a field goal, and it's 7-3. So remember, Illinois pulling for this game here to end in a tie. That's their only chance.
You know, a lot of people have been assistant coaches for a long time say, well, there's no difference between being a head coach and assistant coach except the paycheck. I'll guarantee you right now there's a hell of a difference between being an assistant and a head coach when you're in that huddle as John Cooper making the decision.
Here it comes. Fourth down. The Buckeyes to go for it.
I agree with the decision.
Out of timeouts. Here is where it's so important to have a fifth-year quarterback at the controls of the team. Fry has been around, a lot of experience, and it'll be called on now, even if they get the first down. If not, they could be handing it over to Michigan. Need less than a yard. Fry kicked it. Michigan ball. Wolverines with a chance to win it.
I can't understand them running an option on that because they're not a true option team. Greg Fry, if he's going to run the option, he's got to get it in the hands of the running back quickly. They were in a goal line defense. I'll guarantee you Moeller appreciates them having Fry with the ball in his hand on an option play. Gosh, I know game plan dictates what you do, but you know, Coach Prothro taught me this a long time ago, Brent. He says, when you're in a real tight situation, calling offensive play, go to the guy with the most ability, and not the best play. Just go to the guy with the most ability.
Michigan comes to the line without a huddle now. A minute and a half to go. John Vaughn has replaced Ricky Powers at tailback. He's in behind Bunch.
He should be fresh.
Michigan staff will attempt to bring the clock all the way down on this drive. Bunch, who scored twice in the fourth quarter a year ago against Ohio State in the Michigan win, gets the first call here. Michigan with all three of its timeouts remaining.
You know, Vaughn fumbled last week, and I think that's also one reason that we haven't seen him play a little bit more. He does fumble more than Ricky does.
On second down, Vaughn cutting back to the 20-yard line and about a yard short of a first down for Michigan. Inside of a minute.
They're already at a 37-yard field goal right now.
At the conclusion of this game, we're going to be selecting a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player from each team, and for the 20th year through the Chevrolet Scholarship Program, $1,000 will be donated to the General Scholarship Fund of Ohio State and Michigan. So many of the players on both these fine teams really deserve that award here today. Now 30 seconds. Michigan going to bring it down. Let Carlson attempt to win it with time running out. That's Powers to the 15-yard line. Michigan using one of its 3 timeouts. 19 seconds to go. We'll be right back. The Michigan defense intercepts 3 passes and stops Ohio State on a critical 4th and short to give J.D. Carlson and the Wolverines a chance to win it here.
Well, I'll tell you this, Carlson's been very effective inside that 40 all year. Inside the 30, he's 7 for 9.
He's making his plans where to go to dinner tonight. That's how confident he is. 1st and 10, the ball is at the 15-yard line. Vaughn and Bunch, they'll try to position it. Goes it on at the 20. Now Carlson has made 27 and 30-yarders. That was back in the first half, and he has missed a 38-yarder here in the 4th quarter.
Well, he has what, a 37-yarder to kick right here, 36-yarder to be exact. You know, on the one extra point, or the one extra point or field goal rather, that was missed, I thought that Vinnie Clark, number 7, got a piece of that football coming around the point. He has that great quickness and real good acceleration, and he came around and it looked like he deflected the football.
Well, not only are Ohio State fans pulling for a tie, but how about the Fighting Illini right now? They move into contention for the Rose Bowl if this game winds up 13-all. Meanwhile, Michigan, with a successful field goal, will head down to the Gator Bowl.
There's so many little things that can go wrong. I was in this situation one time playing the Washington Redskins, and they snapped the ball back to the most reliable football player I've ever coached in my life, John Shira. He dropped the snap. We didn't have a chance to miss the field goal or make the field. He dropped the snap. I mean, there's so many little things that can happen.
And the first man out is the man who will snap it. Steve Everett, number 51, will snap the ball to Ken Solon.
Steve Everett's making the snap.
And J.D. Carlson wins it. A huge win for Gary Mueller. So many of these players on both teams know each other so well through their high school days. Cooper in agony on that Buckeye sideline. And across the way in his first year as head coach, Gary Mueller beats his alma mater. No better feeling than that.
Oh, there's no way you can duplicate it.
A splendid game between Michigan and Ohio State in Columbus, Ohio here this afternoon.